Good morning, friends. Today I am going to tell about another topic exercise, that is chapter number 6 of history, that is British policies and impacts. Take the correct answer. First, read the two statements given below about the Rotiwari system. Select the option that show the correct relationship between A and R. Assertion A. The land revenue policy was made by rotis or cultivators. Reason R. Lord Carnarvon introduced this system in 1793 in Bengal and Bihar. The answer is A is true but R is false. As when the revenue tax was very high on the cultivators and rotis means the farmers protested against this, and this was known as land revenue policy. And then the reason is Lord Carnarvon introduced the system in 1793 in Bengal and Bihar. So this is false because the Lord Carnarvon made the Mehalwari system in 1790. Second, identify the achievements of Dadabhai Naroje. P. He was the founding president of Indian National Congress. Q. He introduced the wood dispatches. And R. Drain of wealth theory was developed by him. S is he wrote a book Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. The answer is RNS, which is the drain of wealth theory developed by him, and he wrote a book on poverty and un-British rule. So this is because the Britisher when came to India, they implement such a policy which was not beneficial for the Indians, only for the benefit of the Britisher only. Policies which are made in India was for only the tax revenue and the land revenue system, and hence the farmers and cultivators who are growing the crops, they were majorly forced to grow the indigo, which also make their condition much better. But then also indigo, when grown in the fertile land, the land becomes barren, and hence it was a very thinkable time where the farmers were very upset because of the policies which were made to grow only indigo. And next is draining of wealth. As Britisher made the policies, they also draining the wealth much faster for their growth of nation, and our India was becoming very less developed country. And he wrote a book of Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. So when the Britisher came in India, so he was having a diary in which he was writing a note, and then it was published, and this book is known as Book of Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. In this book he also said that if Britisher were not in India, then also the Britisher, after going to India, or if they have been not come to our country, the India would much faster development and growth in from other nations. 3. Identify the odd one out of the following main features of wood dispatch. A. Teaching of Western education. B. Establishment of University of Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. C. Opening of the Indian Institute of Technology at Kanpur. And D1. Emphasized the importance of vocational introduction and vocational instruction. So here the odd one out from the main features of the wood dispatch was opening of the Indian Institute of Technology at Kanpur, as he introduced the Western education in India, so that the Western education was full of the British rule and also the policies. And this was the time when no greater post was given to the Indians, but all the facilities, great posts were given to the Britisher only, so that they can lead the Indians, and the Indians may not force or any impact on the Britishers. Emphasize the importance of vocational instruction. So they also give the importance that time to India of the vocational instruction, means the policies which were implement, the Indians were very forced. Lathi charge were also there, so that the India may, the soldiers or the people, common people of India may also emphasize that policy only and work on that policy. Establishment of university in Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. So these were the main cities, means main place where which was a development. So that's why he established the universities and western education on that places. Then fourth one, Anshu is preparing a project on the effect of western education in India. Which of the following educationalist he most likely to highlight? Thomas Macaulay, John Elliot Bethune, M.E. Saldar, and John Simon. The answer is Thomas Macaulay, as he was starting the Western education in the main universities where he taught the Western education as well as some Indian education also, but further about he was mainly thinked about only the Western education. Which of the following aspects of the picture is being depicted? The answer is traditional education system of India, where the teacher was standing in the board, which is also known as Lekhini or Lekhini Pat, and the students were sitting down for gaining the knowledge that time. Sixth one, Sony is preparing a speech on land revenue system under British rule. Which of the following person contribution she must mention in her speech? A is Lord Carnarvon, Alexander Reed, Thomas Monro, all of these. So, for the land revenue system in British rule, Lord Carnarvon, Alexander Reed, and Thomas Monro played very effectively in the British rule as making the policies. These three were the main who also make the policies for the British benefit, and also no benefits was given to the Indians. These three also make the policies which the farmers were mainly forced to grow the indigo, which makes the fertile land a barren land where no cultivation further can also grow. The answer is all of these. Seventh one, consider the statements given below and choose the correct answer. Statement first, the three universities of Calcutta, Madras and Bombay came to an accident in 1857. And statement second is the Character Act of 1833 statues of amount of lakh peoples for education of India. The answer is statement first is correct and statement second is incorrect. So why the statement first is correct? Because here the three universities which were in high development were Calcutta, Madras and Bombay. So their universities were formed so that the people would gain the western education, work for the British companies only. But our Indians were mainly grouped together in the religions and religious factors so that they may fight against the Britisher, not from the side of Britisher. Then, which of the following statement is incorrect? The educated Indians realized the exploitative nature of British rule. Then, India's national movement was led by the people who accessed the Western education. Then, English became the link language between the people living in different parts of India under the British rule. Then, the spread of English education discouraged Indians to reform their social and religious institutions. So, when the Western education was formed, then also the Britishers were very not treating well with the Indians, making more and more policies which impacted very badly on the economic and social development of India, and also it stopped the growth of our nation. But some of the freedom fighters also were there as a soldier but not appointed at the higher post so that they can work for their nation. And here is given that Western education discourages Indians. No, if the Indians were also discouraged by this Western education, this is false, because when the people who were studying of the Western education also came to know that how exploitative nature was there of the British rule, how they badly governed on our India, and also their nature was so bad that our India healed all their instructions and the policies, their impacts which were there. Then, ninth one, if a zamindar failed to pay his dues, the land was confiscated under permanent settlement, Mehalwari system, Rotiwari system, Izzadari system. The answer is permanent settlement. Because whenever the zamindar was not paying his dues in his fixed time, so then the land was confiscated, and then the permanent settlement under this, he has to pay more and more tax for 2 or more months, and the land was also under the permanent settlement. Then 10th one, identify the land revenue system under British rule on the given clues. It was introduced by the officials of Alexander Reed and Thomas Monroe, and then his settlements were made in cultivators directly, which is the answer is Rotiwari system. So here we talked about some exercises of objective questions. In next video we will discuss further about more exercises and question answers. Thank you.